God created everything on earth, filling the world with wonders hidden in every detail of nature. Amid the deepest forests, scorching deserts, mysterious rivers, and even the tallest cliffs, we find true winged architects, birds that build homes which seem to defy human logic. From floating palaces to mud fortresses, every bird's nest is more than just a shelter. It is a masterpiece of beauty, survival, and intelligence, a reflection of divine perfection. Here are 20 bird nests so extraordinary they seem to have been shaped by God's own hands, as if taken straight out of a science fiction movie. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Now let's get started. Number 20, the sociable weaver's nest. Imagine an entire city suspended high in a tree, right in the heart of the desert. That's exactly what this small bird from South Africa, especially from the Kalahari Desert, builds. Though modest in appearance, it creates one of the largest communal nests in the animal kingdom. Some nests reach more than 4 meters wide and can weigh up to 500 kilograms. From the outside, they look like a giant straw hut hanging from sturdy trees such as the acacia, or even from power poles. Inside this superstructure, up to 100 pairs of birds live, each with its own chamber accessed through narrow tunnels measuring 10 to 15 centimeters. The design is brilliantly engineered. Central chambers stay warm during cold desert nights, while outer chambers provide cool shelter against the scorching daytime heat. Built with twigs and dry grass, the nest requires weeks of collective effort, often continuing over generations. And that was just the beginning of our list. If you were already impressed by nest number 20, get ready, because what comes next will leave you even more amazed. Number 19, the baya weaver's nest. Native to South and Southeast Asia, the baya weaver is a living jewel of natural engineering. This bright yellow bird builds hanging nests that resemble handcrafted woven straw bags, and the technique is breathtaking. The male uses long leaves, palm fibers, dry grass, and even strips of plastic collected from urban areas. The result is a drop-shaped structure, 30 to 60 centimeters long, with a hanging entrance tunnel, almost always built over water. This strategy helps keep predators like snakes and lizards away. Inside, a cozy chamber awaits where the female lays her eggs. But here's the most fascinating part. The nest is also a courtship display. A male can spend up to 18 days weaving his masterpiece, singing non-stop to attract a mate. If the female disapproves, he abandons it and starts over from scratch. In a single breeding season, some males build up to 25 nests. Number 18, the Montezuma oropendola's nest. In the humid tropical forests of Central America, an aerial spectacle captures attention: the hanging nests of the Montezuma oropendola. These striking black and yellow birds, with their long ivory-colored beaks, transform entire trees into hanging galleries. With more than 100 nests swaying side by side, each female weaves her own bag-shaped nest, measuring between 60 centimeters and 1.8 meters long, dangling like exotic lanterns among the branches. The materials include plant fibers, dried roots, and thin stems carefully intertwined. The most surprising part, however, is the choice of location. These birds often prefer trees inhabited by large wasps. The reason is simple yet ingenious. The insects act as unintentional guardians, keeping predators like snakes away. Number 17, the dome of the African hamerkop, Africa's wild architecture. If the kingdom of birds could award prizes for architecture, the African hamerkop, Scopus umbretta, would certainly be among the winners. This medium-sized bird, about 50 cm long, with a brown body, dark legs, and a modest crest that resembles a small hammer, hence its name in several languages, is responsible for building one of nature's most impressive constructions, its colossal nest. A feathered engineer, the hamerkop inhabits wetlands, riverbanks, lakes, and swamps across most of sub-Saharan Africa, as well as parts of the Arabian Peninsula and Madagascar. It lives in stable pairs, and within this bond, its remarkable nest building thrives. While most birds build nests only during the breeding season and abandon them afterward, the hamerkop turns construction into a continuous lifestyle. It builds several nests throughout the year, some used for reproduction, others simply for practice or as territorial markers. The fortress of branches. The scale of the nest amazes any observer. Diameter, up to 1.5 malleefowl weight, between 20 and 50 kilo materials, 8,000 to 10,000 sticks, reinforced with mud, grass, and sometimes even bones or animal hides found along the way. Structure, a dome-like fortress, impenetrable, with a single narrow entrance leading to a winding tunnel and an inner chamber. Function: protection from predators, such as snakes and raptors, thermal insulation against the African sun, and shelter from heavy rains. The nest is so solid that naturalists report it can support the weight of an adult human standing on top of it, a rare feat in the bird world. More than shelter, a ritual. Even when not raising chicks, hamerkops continue repairing, expanding, and rebuilding their nests. Biologists interpret this as a ritual to strengthen the pair's bond. With each branch placed, they reinforce not only the structure but also their partnership. Other scientists suggest this building obsession is linked to territoriality. Large, multiple nests may serve as a visual warning to rivals that the area is already occupied. The nest that becomes a condominium. When abandoned, hamerkop nests still serve a purpose, turning into natural condominiums. Various species take advantage of the structure. Owls and pigeons may occupy the inner chambers. Wild ducks have been observed using them as improvised incubators. Snakes crawl through the tunnels to hunt or shelter. Even bats find refuge beneath the layers of branches. Thus, the hamerkop acts as an ecological engineer, reshaping its environment and benefiting an entire community. Myth and mystery. In African culture, the hamerkop is surrounded by superstition and ancient beliefs. In some regions, it is said that destroying a hamerkop nest will bring misfortune or bad luck. In other traditions, the bird is seen as a messenger of spirits, its nocturnal call interpreted as a warning. Some peoples consider the dome a sacred house and avoid approaching it, fearing the wrath of forest gods. These myths indirectly have helped protect the species, as many communities simply do not dare destroy its nests. Comparisons with other architects of nature. The hamerkop is not alone in the world of animal architecture, but it is certainly among the most remarkable. Sociable weavers, Philotyrus socius in the African savanna. These small birds build giant communal nests resembling thatched roofs, sheltering hundreds of individuals. Rufous hornero, Furnarius rufus in South America. This bird constructs clay, oven-like houses on trees and posts. Woodpeckers excavate cavities in tree trunks, later reused by other species. What sets the hamerkop apart is that, while most birds build primarily to protect their young, it seems to build out of an almost cultural impulse, like a natural-born architect who simply cannot stop raising fortresses. Number 16. The living volcano of the Australian malleefowl. In the dry forests of Australia, this shy, round-bodied bird breaks every known rule of avian reproduction. Unlike most species, it does not incubate its eggs with body heat. Instead, the male builds a natural oven. He digs a large pit in the ground, fills it with leaves, sticks, and bark, then covers everything with sand, creating a mound up to 60 centimeters high. As the organic matter decomposes, it releases enough heat to incubate the eggs. The female may lay anywhere from 2 to 30 eggs, while the male becomes a living thermometer, using his beak and feet to check the temperature and adjusting the mound by adding or removing soil as needed. When the chicks hatch, they dig their way to the surface and emerge completely independent, already able to fly from their very first moment of life. Number 15. The floating nest of the African jacana. Known as the Jesus bird for its ability to walk across floating vegetation as if walking on water, the African jacana holds even more surprises. Here, the females are larger and dominant, mating with several males. But it is the males who build the nests, incubate the eggs, and care for the chicks. The nest is a floating platform made of aquatic plants, carefully anchored to prevent it from drifting with the wind or current. This location keeps the eggs close to food sources and safe from land predators. If necessary, the male can even move the nest to a new spot. The female lays 4 to 5 eggs, which the male incubates for about 22 to 24 days. The chicks hatch covered in down, ready to walk, swim, and even dive. Number 14. The natural oven of the megapode, the living incubator of the forest. In the rainforests of northern Australia, the islands of Indonesia, and lush New Guinea lives a discreet bird with a skill that intrigues scientists and fascinates observers. The megapode, also known as the mound builder or big-footed turkey. This creature defies the universal pattern of bird reproduction, as it does not brood its eggs directly. Instead, it has devised an ingenious method, transforming itself into a kind of climate engineer of the tropical forest, the architect of mounds. While most birds spend weeks warming their eggs with body heat, the megapode developed an innovative solution. The male builds enormous mounds of leaves, sticks, sand, and soil that can reach 4.5 meters across and more than 1 meter high. These mounds are not mere piles of organic matter. They function as natural ovens. The decomposition of vegetation generates heat, maintaining a stable temperature between 32 and 35 to grow exactly what the embryos need to develop. The male, guardian of the thermostat. The male's role does not end with construction. On the contrary, he becomes a living thermostat. Every day he inspects the mound's surface, digs with his large feet, and uses his beak to assess the internal temperature. If it's too hot, he removes some of the covering to release heat. If it's too cold, he adds fresh leaves, sand, and other materials to restart the decomposition process. This routine can last for months, showing a level of dedication that rivals any father in the animal kingdom. The role of the females lay their eggs in internal chambers, carefully dug into the mound. Each egg is enormous compared to the bird's body, weighing up to 10% of the female's mass. A remarkable reproductive investment. After laying, the female leaves. All incubation work is handled by the natural heat regulated by the male. Independent birth. Perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of the megapode occurs at hatching. Unlike most birds, which are born blind, fragile, and fully dependent on their parents, megapode chicks hatch highly developed. They dig their own way out of the mound. They emerge fully feathered, eyes open, wings functional. Within hours, they can run and even fly short distances. This phenomenon, called superprecocial development, is extremely rare among birds and demonstrates how evolution has shaped the megapode's life to depend almost entirely on the environment, not direct parental care. Diversity within the family. The term megapode does not refer to a single species, but to an entire family, Megapodiidae, of about 20 species spread across Southeast Asia and Oceania. Among them, Australian brush turkey, Alectura lathami from eastern Australia, famous for its giant mounds. Maleo, Macrocephalon maleo from Sulawesi, which uses volcanic soil and beach sand heated by the sun to incubate eggs. Nicobar megapode, Megapodius nicobariensis, from isolated islands, taking advantage of sun-warmed sand. Each species has adapted its technique to local conditions, but all share the same principle, using the environment as an incubator, an evolutionary phenomenon. The megapode's strategy is an extraordinary example of how evolution finds creative solutions to universal challenges. Energy efficiency. Parents do not need to spend weeks warming eggs. Chick autonomy. Independence at birth increases survival chances in predator-rich environments. Calculated risk, though ingenious, the method has downsides. Mounds can be raided by lizards, pigs, or even humans, who prize the eggs as delicacies. Still, this strategy has survived for millions of years, proving its adaptive efficiency, the megapode, and humans. In many regions, megapode eggs are considered a culinary treasure. Each egg is enormous, equivalent to up to 8 chicken eggs, and their collection is a traditional practice in several oceanic cultures. On the other hand, this also poses a conservation threat, as overharvesting can drastically reduce populations. Number 13, the skyscrapers of the monk parakeets. In the heart of South America's subtropical forests, a small emerald green bird has developed one of the most impressive architectures of the natural world. The monk parakeet, also known as the Quaker parrot, is the only parrot known to build permanent communal nests out of sticks. While most parrot species seek tree cavities or rock crevices for shelter, the monk parakeet innovated. It creates true aerial cities, collective structures that can weigh more than 200 kilograms and house up to 20 pairs at once. Each pair has its own chamber, like an apartment in a suspended condominium, but all share responsibility for maintaining and expanding the superstructure. Cooperative architects' monk parakeet nests are built from hundreds or even thousands of dry twigs. Unlike other birds, which build a single nest per season, these parrots maintain and expand their structures year-round. Entrances and corridors. Each pair has an access opening to its apartment, but tunnels often interconnect, forming internal labyrinths. Modular expansion. When new pairs join the colony, they simply add extensions laterally or vertically, like adding new floors to a building. Durability. Some nests last for decades, occupied by by multiple generations. The result is a construction so large and solid that it can be mistaken for giant beehives or massive bundles of sticks hanging from trees, power poles, and even telecommunications towers. Collective protection cooperation goes beyond building. These communal nests offer clear advantages. Predator defense, hawks, owls, and snakes struggle to penetrate a fortress defended by dozens of vigilant birds. If a threat approaches, the entire colony reacts with loud calls and coordinated flights, confusing the enemy. Climate control, internal chambers maintain more stable temperatures, shielding chicks from cold, extreme heat, and heavy rains. Continuous upkeep, because the structure is never abandoned, it is constantly reinforced, becoming more stable over time. Thus, monk parakeets don't just build, they sustain entire aerial communities, creating ecosystems that can last for decades. Life in society. The most fascinating aspect is not just the engineering, but how this architecture reflects the parakeet's social life. Intense communication. These birds are highly vocal, calling almost non-stop to stay in touch with neighbors and coordinate activities. Strong bonds. Pairs are monogamous, often staying together for life. Mutual aid. Colony members often cooperate in defense, feeding chicks, and even repairing neighbors' nests. This community life reveals advanced social intelligence, placing the monk parakeet among the most adaptable birds on Earth. A global species, originally native to South America, especially Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and southern Brazil, the monk parakeet has spread worldwide, thanks to both the exotic pet trade and its incredible adaptability. Today, established colonies exist in North America. Cities like New York, Miami, and Chicago host giant nests and power poles in urban parks. Europe, stable populations thrive in Madrid, Barcelona, Rome, and London. Asia, confirmed colonies in South Korea and Japan. This globalization has made the monk parakeet a symbol of resilience, and at the same time, a management challenge in some regions. Conflict with humans. Despite their charm and ingenuity, the species is not without controversy. Agricultural impact. Flocks can cause significant damage to corn, sunflower, and fruit crops. Electrical hazards. Nests on power lines sometimes cause short circuits and fires, forcing utility companies to invest in removal and prevention. Number 12. The tiny genius, the penduline tit. At just 8 centimeters long, this is one of the smallest birds in Africa, but don't be fooled by its size. The penduline tit is a true master of natural engineering. Its nests look like tiny spheres or eggs hanging from the thinnest branches, woven from spider silk, plant fibers, animal hair, and even wool. Light yet resilient, they dangle like delicate fruits in the wind. The most impressive feature is their security system. Each nest has 2 entrances, a false one, clearly visible, leading to an empty chamber, and the real one, hidden under plant fibers, carefully sealed each time the bird enters or exits, confusing snakes and lizards. Number 11. The swallow that turns mud into architecture. Among nature's most fascinating engineers, few birds rival the skill of the mud-building swallow. Small, agile, and tireless, it raises true masterpieces of clay in unlikely places, showing how nature can be practical, artistic, and cooperative all at once. Brick by brick, drop by drop. The construction process is worthy of a dedicated mason. Raw material. Each pair collects small pellets of wet mud from riverbanks, ponds, and puddles. Quantity. To build a single nest, around 1,000 pellets are needed, carried in the beak one by one. Shape. The result is a bottle-shaped nest with a narrow entrance leading to a curved tunnel, ending in a protected chamber where eggs are laid. This ingenious design works as a natural defense system. The narrow entrance prevents larger birds from entering. The curved tunnel shields against strong winds and direct sunlight. The inner chamber maintains stable temperatures even in harsh environments. Monumental colonies. Though small, these nests rarely appear alone. Swallows are social birds, and each pair contributes to gigantic collective constructions. Scale. On cliffs or even urban viaducts, thousands of nests accumulate side by side, forming suspended mud cities. Organization. While each nest is individual, their alignment creates a beehive or skyscraper-like effect. Durability. Once dried in the sun, the nests become as hard as ceramic, lasting for several seasons, and serving not only swallows but also insects and small reptiles. From a distance, the result is breathtaking. making, a living mud wall dotted with circular entrances, where thousands of birds fly, call, and take turns building cooperative neighborhoods. Living in aerial condominiums brings clear advantages: collective defense. Predators such as hawks, snakes, and owls face a nearly impenetrable barrier. When threatened, thousands of swallows take off in unison, creating a chaotic spectacle that drives intruders away. Information sharing. Flocks communicate about insect-rich areas, optimizing food gathering. Social learning. Chicks grow up in a vibrant community, learning to fly, hunt, and integrate into the group. This shows that collective strength is the species' main evolutionary strategy. Urban architects. Interestingly, human expansion has opened new opportunities. Bridges, overpasses, dams, and even building facades have become perfect bases for their colonies. Mutual benefit. In cities, swallows help control insect populations, consuming thousands of mosquitoes per day. Conflicts. In some areas, huge colonies cause noise, droppings, and falling nests, sparking debates about management and coexistence. Still, for many observers, watching an active colony is witnessing a unique blend of natural and urban architecture. Parallels with human engineering. Swallow architecture reflects universal building principles. Use of local materials, mud and straw, just like early human construction. Functional design. Narrow entrances and long tunnels resemble medieval castles with defensive passages. Collective building. Like human cities, individual units integrate into a larger structure. Not surprisingly, some civil engineers have studied the strength and aerodynamics of swallow nests for inspiration in sustainable materials. Cultural symbolism. In many regions, swallows symbolize perseverance, collective work, and cyclical return, since many species migrate long distances and return to the same nests year after year. In folklore, colonies on cliffs or bridges are seen as signs of fertility and abundance. Where there are swallows, life thrives in balance. Number 10. The interior designer of the forest. This brown bird may seem modest until it reveals its artistic side. The male builds hut or cone-shaped structures up to 1.5 meter wide and 1 meter tall. But here's the twist. These aren't nests for raising chicks. They are stages for courtship. Inside these constructions, the male arranges flowers, fruits, dead insects, and even shiny human objects like bottle caps or bits of glass. Every detail follows rules of symmetry, color, and brightness. A true jungle art installation. The females inspect everything like judges at a beauty contest. If impressed, they accept the male for mating. If not, he must start over. The competition is so fierce that some males even steal decorations from their neighbors. Number 9. The mud architect. The rufous hornero is perhaps the most celebrated bird in South America, especially in Brazil and Argentina. Small, with earthy toned plumage that blends with the clay it uses, it has become famous for its unique constructions. Oven-shaped nests. The clay oven at the top of a tree using a mixture of clay, dry grass, plant fibers, and even animal hair. The pair carefully molds a rounded nest that can reach 30 centimeters in diameter and weigh around 5 kilograms. Structure. The entrance leads to a curved tunnel ending in a secure chamber where the eggs are laid. Defensive function. The tunnel protects against predators such as snakes and raptors and prevents rain and wind from entering directly. Placement. Usually on trees, posts, or fences, always in locations that provide a good view of the surroundings. Its resemblance to a traditional country clay oven is so striking that it earned the bird its popular name. The art of construction. The building process varies depending on the environment. In humid regions, the clay takes longer to dry, and construction can take weeks or months. In dry, sunny areas, the pair can finish the oven in just a few days. During construction, both partners work intensively, carrying small portions of clay in their beaks, often hundreds of times per day. If they are not satisfied with the result, they abandon the structure and start over elsewhere. A remarkable perfectionism for a bird. Surprising durability. Rufous hornero nests are extremely resilient. Many remain intact after years of storms, serving as shelter for other birds such as forest owlets, small mammals and reptiles like lizards, insects benefiting from the protective clay shell. Each nest becomes part of an ecological chain, providing housing for various species over time. The singing couple and the clay dance. Besides being master builders, rufous horneros are known for their melodious, repetitive song, often echoing during construction. While building, the male and female seem to perform a choreographed dance, alternating between shaping clay and singing. This synchrony is so remarkable that in many cultures it symbolizes faithful love. Cultural symbolism. The rufous hornero holds a special place in South American folklore. In Argentina, it is considered the national bird and a symbol of work and perseverance. In Brazil, it is associated with marital fidelity, believed to form long-lasting pairs united in nest construction. In music and poetry, it appears in popular songs and verses celebrating its patient artistic clay work. There are even legends claiming the bird closes the nest entrance if a partner is unfaithful, a myth without scientific basis, but indicative of the nest's impact on human imagination and architect among birds. Compared to other feathered engineers, the rufous hornero stands out for using clay as the main material instead of sticks or leaves, erecting independent, durable structures instead of fragile seasonal nests, creating a climatically efficient space with relatively stable internal temperature. Its oven-like nests recall ancient human building techniques when clay and straw houses were hand-shaped in small villages. The singing oven. Ultimately, the rufous hornero's nest is more than shelter. It is a living monument to persistence, partnership, and nature's creativity. When the wind blows and the sun shines, the clay oven seems to glow atop the branches, a clay jewel molded by wings. And beside the nest, the pair continues to sing, celebrating the union of art, love, and architecture. Number 8. The ground-digging bee-eater. The bee-eater is a master digger. It excavates tunnels up to 3 meters long in sandy riverbanks and lake shores. At the end of each tunnel, it creates a chamber where the female lays 4 to 7 eggs. The most remarkable feature is their communal sense. Dozens or even hundreds of pairs can dig side by side, forming entire underground cities. Both parents incubate the eggs for about 20 days and feed the chicks until they are ready to fly. Besides being soil engineers, they are precise aerial hunters, catching bees, wasps, and dragonflies mid-air. Before eating, they knock the insect against a branch to remove the stinger. Despite their name, bee-eaters have minimal impact on pollinators and actually help maintain ecological balance by controlling insect populations. Number 7. The tireless weaver, the masked weaver. This small African bird is considered the Leonardo da Vinci of nests. The male, with bright yellow plumage and a black mask, spends days intertwining grass fibers, palm leaves, and reeds to create a perfect sphere suspended from branches over water. If the female approves, she lines the interior with soft materials and lays her eggs. If she disapproves, the male destroys his work and starts over. Some males build more than 20 nests per season, like artists presenting creations for recognition. And yes, even among weavers, there is unfair competition. Some steal fibers from neighbors to speed up their work. Number 6. The coveted nest of the swiftlet. From the depths of caves in Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia comes one of the most curious and valuable constructions in the animal kingdom, the swiftlet nest. This dark-feathered, agile bird does not use sticks or mud. Instead, it constructs its nest entirely from its own saliva, secreted by special glands beneath its tongue. Exposed to air, the gelatinous substance hardens into a small white bowl firmly attached to rock walls. The process takes about 35 days and can be repeated multiple times in a single season. The astonishing detail: these nests, known as edible birds' nests, are highly prized in Chinese cuisine. The most famous dish, the legendary bird's nest soup, is considered an elixir of youth, believed to strengthen the immune system and even prolong life. Number 5. The majestic bald eagle nest, national symbol of the United States. The bald eagle impresses not only with its wingspan, which can exceed 2.3 meters, but also as an extraordinary architect of the skies. These birds mate for life, returning year after year to the same site to expand and reinforce their home. The nests, called eyries, are colossal structures made of thick branches, reinforced inside with moss, grass, and feathers. Built strategically atop tall trees, always near rivers, lakes, or coastal areas, they ensure direct access to their primary food source, fish. Over time, these nests reach impressive dimensions, up to 4 meters deep, 2.5 meters wide, and over 1 ton in weight. The largest ever recorded exceeded 6 meters in height, almost a natural skyscraper. During the breeding season, the female lays 1 to 3 eggs, incubated by both parents for around 35 days. Number 4. The pink-colored flamingo colonies. At first glance, flamingos seem to have stepped out of an artist's imagination. Extremely long legs, pink feathers, and a neck curved like a serpent. During the breeding season, hundreds gather in massive colonies and perform synchronized dances. They stretch their necks, turn their heads, flap their wings, and march in unison as if rehearsing a nature musical. After the courtship, nest building begins. They create true cones of mud, up to 30 cm high, shaped from clay, pebbles, feathers, and vegetation. At the top is a small cavity where a single egg is laid. Both parents incubate the egg for approximately 27 to 31 days. When the chick hatches, it is fed not insects or seeds, but a nutrient-rich crop milk produced by both parents, full of fats and proteins. Number 3. The fortress nest of the cactus wren. In the arid deserts of the southwestern United States and Mexico, this small architectural genius found a brilliant survival trick, building nests among the spines of cacti, such as the cholla or saguaro, turning them into natural alarm systems against predators. The nests, 18 to 30 cm long, are oval with a side entrance. They are made of twigs and plant fibers, carefully lined with feathers to retain heat during cold desert nights. A narrow tunnel leads to the main chamber where the eggs are safely protected. But the strategy doesn't stop there. The cactus wren builds several nests within its territory. Throughout this journey, we see that each nest is not just a shelter for eggs, but a testament to the infinite creativity pulsing in nature. From tireless weavers turning grass into suspended works of art, to birds using mud, saliva, or even the heat of the earth to incubate their chicks, everything reveals a natural intelligence that amazes us. It is impossible to witness such diversity without feeling the presence of a greater guiding hand, a creator who scattered signs of perfection across the planet. These nests are both survival fortresses and living sculptures, proof that life always finds beautiful and ingenious ways to flourish. Just as at the beginning, we remember that all these wonders are not the result of chance. They are divine gifts, miracles that God spread across the world to show us that beauty can arise from clay, wind, water, and even the cooperation of small birds. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.